M0FXB, welcome back to the channel. Quite often I've been asked, what is the difference between the iRadio UV98, turn it down, and the Radtel 880? And I would say there is no difference. Exactly the same screen, the buttons, the backlit buttons. You've still got the dual antenna there, pull the knob off there. That's receive only. No, you will never transmit SSB on these radios ever. And then you've got 3 buttons on the side. All 3 can actually be PTTs. One is larger. Then you've got that sort of style connector. And you do need a screwdriver. But you can buy microphones and adapters for these very inexpensively. I always lose these, but it's one of those types. But it's not that it's expensive, but it's not as easy as the twin pin. But the nice thing is they both have USB-C programming, and cables are inexpensive. Big belt clip and a nice long-lasting battery. So what I'm finding is that the iRadio firmware, which is available, and the Radtel firmware is good. But I'm having better success with the Radtel firmware and the Radtel CPS. Now, what you'll notice on the Radtel here, because this is the G model, they are going to do, or they have done a GPS model of both of these radios, the UV98 G. But the problem is, you need to have the module included. So on this one here, I programmed a button. Menu, go down to key function, that's programming buttons. Key function, and if you go down you can program the side buttons, but you can actually long press program all of these buttons. So if you go to 5 and then select, you get a long list of things you can tell it to do when you hold down the 5. I've told it to give me the GPS signal. If you back out, hold down 5, and we've got my GPS position. Looks great. Now if I do the same with the, because you've still got the same firmware running here, 1.10 I'm running, which is now does not have a password. See if I put it on 5. I did. Look, what happens is when there is no module inside, you don't get this green thing here. Also, look at this, Bluetooth. It's there. There's no Bluetooth working, but it's definitely there. And then both these radios, no, you need GPS as far as I can see, because I'm finding that the GPS does not work. Even if you haven't got a GPS module, then there's no APRS module. People have asked me, can we open these up and add them? Well, maybe if you get the components. There is a teardown video by Electro Bananas on YouTube. I'll link it in, and thanks to him for making that video. And please, if he's watching, let us know. Can you just buy the components and add them to the board? But otherwise, let's just talk basics with this radio. So the first button is on, off, and then volume. Very nice, clear audio on these. Of course, you've got a full keypad. To go between the 3 here, and you'll never hear more than 1 at a time. So it's a monitor, but it's still very handy. You just press the red button. You can change the colours here now with the new firmware. So see the name there's in like a yellow. You can go menu, into basic settings, and then go up or down until you see channel. There it is there, channel alias, colour, select, and let's go for pink. It's not very pinky, is it? Can't hardly see that. Let's do that again. Select blue, and it doesn't really show, does it? It's either green or yellow, I would say. So choose some brighter colors, please, whoever's writing this firmware. Channel 8, and you see there you can actually initialize the radio, and you can look at the firmware as well in the same menu. Menu, then basic, and then go up, version, and look, you'll see 1.10. And there's no passwords for the firmwares available now. So with the red button, you go all the way between the 3. Follow the white, the white emblem there, 2 and 3. Okay, and whichever one it's next to, you can type. Now it says VFO here, which is what is also frequency mode. I can now type a frequency, 145. Okay, excellent. And we could save that to memory. But if we press channel, we can now scroll just through the channels. I'll leave it on a CB frequency. If you press again and it says zone, it means you can only go through the channels that you've put into that particular zone, and that's zone 5 there. Now you'll notice that I'm able to mix and match CB with 2 meters and 70. Now you can only do that with the new firmware, and you have to be in what they call, if I turn it off and turn it on, full band mode. You watch what the screen says. And if you're not in full, but the problem with full band mode is it won't scan between the three. When I say scan, monitor. You can select the different three, but it won't monitor. And to come in and out of full band mode, turn it off, hold the down arrow and turn on. And we're in normal mode now. So now you have to actually select what bands you can put in. So at the moment it says 64 to 620. So if we go menu, and I'm pretty sure that's in, yeah, it is in basic settings. So you select it and then look for multi-standby. You could actually select multi-PTT as well. There it is there, multi-standby. That selects all. And then, oh, sorry, I was going to tell you the different working range. That changes up here. Let's look for that. Same menu, it's 17. So if you select, and you can now select the sort of CB and that. And in these ones, you can, it's all FM, but you can actually receive in AM. You get that selection there. Now, if we go into, if we pull down, and I've set number 1 to be the spectrum scope. Remember, we showed you how to do the key function earlier. So just do that, but choose spectrum. So if I hold down 1, look, we go into spectrum. And then if we press again, press and hold the hash, you're in scanning mode. That's just sort of visual. And you can change, you can go around and change these parameters by pressing the star. Just have a little play with that. But if we press and hold the hash again, we'll be able to hear anything that is received. Okay, we're just on the rubber duck at the moment. I highly advise you add an external antenna. So, you know, the question I keep getting asked over and over again is, will this transmit on SSB? Will it? The answer is 1,000,000,000% no, because all you've got is the receive chip that's connected to the middle antenna, which is, I've actually got an external antenna there. I'm going to show you that now. And that's it. It's a radio receiver. It's not a transmitter. But as soon as anything is selected in the 3-band mode, which you're seeing here, you can receive and transmit. And all right, it's recommended 2 meters and 70 only, but it actually does work well as a CB. As soon as you start doing 50 megs, 70 megs, 4 meters, then it's, I don't think it's very good. But regarding harmonics, lots of tests have been done, and when it's 2 meters and 70, it's fine. Everything else, I'm not sure. So let's go into the sort of HF radio mode. We've connected the antenna in the middle there. Push the bottom button here. Both these radios do this, remember? But you need that antenna connected, otherwise you're not going to hear anything. And don't think you can put one of these cheap telescopic things in and suddenly you're going to hear lots of HF. You're not. You need a very long wire, to actually hear good signals. So if we just see if there's anyone's about, turn it up, turn this one down. It's normally, if there's good activity, it's really good, yeah? And then, right, okay, so look at this white arrow here, and then the star. Press the star to change your selection. So at the moment we can type frequency, but we can actually press star to choose preset memories that we've put in, or change the step. That's the gap between the frequency changes. But we need fine tune here, so let's see if we can, and it's called BFO, and you can fine tune like so. I'm holding it, of course. But if we press the star back to the frequency, you change the mode by, see it says LSB, lower sideband. You can change that just by pressing the hash. So look, upper sideband. And also in this mode you can listen to broadcast radio. So if I just cycle through some of my memories, I've added these names, 80 meters. You can do it all with software. The software is, I think, very user friendly. There you are, broadcast radio. The thing I haven't actually tested for is if it will do RDS. RDS is when it will say BBC. Oh, there it is there. No, that's my typing. So it'd be nice to know. I'll find out, and if it does do RDS, I will make a video, which is basically automatically picking up the name of the channel you're listening to on broadcast radio and then putting it on the screen. So that's it. So you know the summary of this video, and because there's so much more to this radio than what I've just talked about, is they are the same radio. To me, they're made in the same factory. iRadio have been making their own firmware, and so have Radtel. But interestingly, the firmware version 1.10 is the same for iRadio and Radtel. You've got these emergency buttons here. You can adjust things like mic gain, massive menu. You've got basic settings, key, analog look, squelch. There's actually settings in there to actually fine tune even the transmit power. Big vast menu. You can put zone names in, but it doesn't seem to show up on the final radio. I'll show you what I mean in a sec. Extend is where you're going to find your GPS, APRS, and I think eventually Bluetooth. Channel settings is where you're going to program a channel. You just add all your parameters and then save it. FM, let's have a look at the FM radio. Oh well. Let's see if we do a shortcut before we end it. So we'll go menu. Basic settings. And then we'll do... let's do the side buttons first, because it might already be on there. Of course, it's a radio, isn't it? So no, let's just try it. And I got a feeling that the radio, key define. Let's do 2. If I select, so you got spectrum, radio, sleep, query status, that's where you save channel. You put all the parameters in channel parameters, put the parameters in and then save. Look, receive AM or FM, not transmit on AM. Weather channels, NOAA, LCD on off, brightness, GPS, GPS record, APRS, it does record all your beacons. Monitor, it's just 0 squelch. Now I think if we get to radio, Roger beep, let's do FM radio on 2, and then let's hold it. There you are. It just takes you back to that HF, because what they've done, they've used the sort of, I don't know, the sort of programming software side of where they're going to put the way to control that SI4732. Is it? It might be actually. It's probably a different chip. I'm sort of likening it to the SI4732. There's the chip in Electronic Bananas. So it looks like an SI4732 to me, and that will be where your modules would go for APRS and GPS here. So thank you very much. And these are these little receivers that we can buy. SI4732 little mini. This is the newer one. And yeah, if I could add an antenna there, like so, it's just like I said, it's just a bit of wire. Press. This is the newer one. Again, you know, it's a shame, isn't it? It's not busy. When it is, on every day you'll have a busy time. Anyway, you get the idea. Thanks for watching, and I'm sure I've missed loads. We've got an LED here as well, goes red and green. I love the way I mean, these you can get for about £30 now, but look at this. If you get the non-GPS model, they're about £60 delivered, and that's what this one is. I'm completely happy with it for what I paid. Yeah, you're going to have to pay about £100, maybe 90 to get the GPS APRS, but there's a long wait at the moment for that. And look, we've still got a GPS lock there. With the new firmware, it's a green logo. Hold it down. And then another thing just to remember is when you select multi-standby, you know, triple receive, it shows up. So if you go menu, basic, look for multi-standby, which is basically multi-monitor, it does show up. Let's turn that on. It shows it up here with a little logo. Now it's monitoring all three. But if you do that full band select thing, where you hold down the arrow, that's normal mode by the looks of it. Yeah, it's not saying full band select. The multi-standby doesn't work. We said that earlier. You've got a battery logo there, all the beeps. And wow, I really think that. And anyone that slates these radios, that says that they're rubbish, and then they mention the country, which I think mentioning a country when a product is bad is bad. Yeah, it doesn't matter where a product is made. If it's good or bad, it doesn't matter what the country is. What matters is it a good or bad product? If you want to point out the reasons why you think it's bad and go into detail, because remember, these two items have thousands of functions. So if you say this is a piece of junk because the APRS isn't fully working yet, but so then you say that the whole radio is a piece of junk, you're just being rude. Anyway, thanks for watching my channel. Bye for now.